Ladies and gentlemen, I'll read you James Comey's words once again. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information. And I'll continue, but this is a statement from FBI Director James B. Comey on the investigation of Secretary Hillary Clinton's use of a personal email system, July 5th, 2016. Okay? You would have to live in a morally relative world where cognitive dissonance is the air that you breathe and hypocrisy is a way of life and hyperbolic, lofty, idealistic quotes are utilized against your political opponents while you gleefully rip apart the rule of law because it suits you to do so. So that's what they've done. The rule of law did not apply to Clinton. It states very clearly, although we, hold on. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case. Do you think that Mueller and everyone around Trump were reasonable prosecutors? I think they were unreasonable. Okay, I think that they had it in for Trump. I think the United States government, or I should say, loyalists of the Democratic Party within numerous agencies and the Bureau, and they're going after Trump because they couldn't get him with the Mueller probe. They couldn't get him with Stormy. They couldn't get him in Georgia or New York or with his tax returns or trying to overthrow democracy with Cheney and Kinzinger. Now they're desperate because we have a recession, inflation is increasing. Subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel and also H.A. Goodman's other channel. I'll have segments tonight or later this evening or early tomorrow morning on those channels. Hit subscribe. We're going to go over 200,000 subs on this channel, and watch the last segment prior to this one on the potential of Trump to utilize the security footage. That's another reason he won't be convicted. Now, they could indict him. They could indict him, but it will not lead to a conviction because the precedent has already been set. The precedent has already been set to block or prevent or stop any indictment. When you have the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation stating there is evidence of potential violations of statutes regarding the handling of classified information, end of story. End of story. Now, there was more than just evidence. Clinton found a way, her team found a way, and I want Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. I think we need that. We need that in this country for a lot of reasons. Okay, half the country thinks that the Kremlin, or actually doesn't even care, but a good part of the country thinks that the Kremlin stole it from Clinton. So we need a rematch. And then Bernie Sanders, it'd be interesting to see Bernie Sanders also support Clinton again. There's a lot of things. I just want all the morally superior liberal Democratic Party loyalists, progressives, liberals, beautiful people tell their viewers on YouTube to vote for Hillary again. There are a lot of reasons why I want Hillary Trump 2024, but mainly our country needs to relive 2016 because we need to put it to bed, to rest once and for all. But although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case, and then you could add against Clinton. Do you think that they would say, you think Comey would say, although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding what Trump was accused of in the Mueller probe, the Georgia investigation, New York investigation, his tax returns, Kinzinger and Cheney's congressional committee, no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case, and then the Mar-a-Lago raid. Okay, there are two tiers of justice. What Clinton did was 10 trillion times worse than boxes at Mar-a-Lago. Okay, 11 boxes, or 11 or 15 or 16 boxes meant for a library, not hiding your communication from even President Obama because you're running a foundation that is basically an organization involved in graft. It's obvious it's Tammany Hall, but with servers. And you have the same thing with Hunter. You have emails where people are saying, oh, you know what? How can you use your influence on the company's behalf? And so you have clear violations of the law with Hunter and Hillary, clear violations. How can you use your influence on the company's behalf? And you have 150 suspicious financial transactions, and you have kickbacks to the tune of 10%, and then you get one very esteemed, respected atheist saying, "Oh, well, it doesn't matter if there's kickbacks." Like, well, if there was kickbacks with Trump, would you care? Yes, of course. You can't have a functioning government if the officials are getting paid by another country. And if you say, well, there's no evidence that he altered foreign policy, yeah, he forced out a prosecutor. The evidence shows he forced out the prosecutor because Hunter worked for that company. The evidence does not show that President Obama or anyone else knew that he was given the authority or had intended to force out this prosecutor in another country. Is it U.S. foreign policy? Is that protocol to go into other countries and say, you better fire that person or we're not going to give you $1 billion in loan guarantees? When was the last time that happened? I would like to know, for all the people who think that it's an abomination to accuse Biden of that, when was the last time a U.S. official forced out a government official in another country and said, you're not going to get assistance if that official still remains there? And would you allow that to happen in this country? Absolutely not. You would absolutely not allow that to take place. But my point is, you're not going to get a conviction even if you do get an indictment. And his poll numbers have gone up. He's fundraised off of this. He's like broken records, or he's making a boatload of money fundraising. People are now even more enthusiastic about Trump. Nothing you can do, Democrats, can stop Trump. Nothing. 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 If, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, he decides or he can't run, God forbid, because maniacs and absolute lunatics have devoted their lives to stopping a man who presided over record low on not only record low unemployment, but record low poverty levels in 2019. According to CNN, record low poverty and record highs in household median income, and he's the end of democracy. Now we have recession, geopolitical nightmare in Europe. I mean, they've failed at everything. Nothing is working in Biden's America. Nothing. Mashed potato brains is an absolute failure. He's such an embarrassment to even the Democratic Party, they don't even want him to run again. So you tell me, you do the math on that. But nothing, even if you would get DeSantis or you would get Trump Jr. At this point right now, the vitriol and the contempt that's completely fabricated against Trump, because they can't back up anything they're saying. If he's a true menace to democracy, he should have committed crimes thus far. It would be easy to convict him or even indict him. If they do indict him, he's not going to get convicted because of Comey's words and because he has a right as a former president, not secret servers hiding communication. But he has a right as a former president to bring boxes of classified data. And if there's a disagreement with the National Archives, big deal. If there's a disagreement with the National Archives and the Department of Justice, and it's worked out by attorneys, so be it. It's not a national security issue. It's not a national security issue. You could try to make the case that it is, but then if you make the case that these boxes are a national security issue because somebody could have stolen them, which they didn't, but somebody could have stolen them. I agree with you, kind of. But the only difference is that vantage point must be also correlated to, well, obviously what Clinton did is a million times worse because you have servers for 4 years funneling classified data, adversarial nations knowing, and even Comey stating, yeah, they could have hacked her servers and nobody would have known. And of course, they would never leave a thank you note. And of course, Michael Hayden said he would lose respect for foreign intelligence agencies if they didn't have all of her emails, classified included. And so how you transfer classified data, President Obama's administration made an absolute mockery of classified data. And now they're going after Trump. Good luck. Good luck. Everything they do backfires. Because you want to know why? Focus on policy. You can't, Democrats, because look what's happening. The economy stinks. Foreign policy is abysmal. What do you have to run on? Your contempt and disdain for Trump. You're running out of steam now. The returns, you're reaching a point of diminishing returns. Pretty soon, your contempt will actually, the opposite will take place. People will realize, you know what? The system's after Trump. As Americans, we love the underdog. And he's now becoming the underdog. And the tyrants, which they were always the tyrants, but the tyrants and the authoritarians, they were always the authoritarians. The tyrants and the authoritarians are now viewed as the people going after Trump for things he didn't do. We've all been in class in school accused of things we never did. Okay, we've all felt how bad it is being accused of something we didn't do, or to be bullied by somebody. They think Trump is the bully, but at a certain point, if you continue, even if you think Trump's a bully, he's not actually, but if you do, at a certain point, if you see the school and the administration and the principal going after a person viewed as a bully, you're going to eventually feel sorry for even that person. And so that's the dilemma Democrats have made for themselves. They can't focus on policies. They just want to torment Trump. And at the end of the day, they lose credibility every time they accuse him of something. Now, they could indict him. I'd still vote for Trump because I know he didn't commit a crime. Because boxes from the National Archives or boxes that the National Archives didn't review is not when you have your team of attorneys working with the Department of Justice and the National Archives, and you've already stated you declassified everything, and you're the former president of the United States of America who wants those boxes for a library. Very different from the criminal intent that Democrats get away with Hunter and Clinton and Hillary. Very different. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. No reasonable prosecutor would indict Trump, but if they find an unreasonable prosecutor, they're not going to convict him because a precedent has already been set with Clinton. You can't get away with infinitely worse and then go after Trump as if you care about the mishandling of classified data. There's also the issue of intent, which actually is far more relevant with Trump than it was with Clinton. Trump had a library to think about. If they can prove that he was trying to steal documents and sell them, or try to steal documents because he didn't want the public to know about something, that's a different story. Now, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Go to the Stock Market Crash channel. Go to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now.